Today we will discuss about the operationalization of performance based assessment. Here in this discussion we will see how the performance based assessment can be operationalized, can be used, can be conducted in the teaching learning process. In the previous classes we had already discussed that what is the performance task assessment, but the point is that it needs to be implemented in the classroom, and that's why it is a very important to discuss here that how we can use the performance based assessment in the classroom practices. Before starting that how we can utilize, use, operationalize performance based assessment, first briefly we will see that why it was required to shift from the conventional modes of assessment to the performance based assessment, because we must understand that what was the need, what was the problem, concern with the current testing practices. And when we see the current testing practices, we find that our belief, our faith on the current practices, conventional practices of testing, like a paper pencil test, like that is examinations, like questioning or oral testing, these have failed to keep the promise of holistic and authentic assessment of a student's learning. We have thought that by doing those things, we can assess, we can evaluate the student performance holistically by covering all the domain. But we failed because there are some domain of a learning that cannot be assessed through the paper pencil test, even through the oral testing, like that the creativity. Creativity is very hard to assess through the conventional mode of testing, like critical thinking. It is also very hard to test through the conventional modes of testing. Even the skill part, attitude part, that is the affective domain. And in general, we can say that the area where students' performance is a matter of concern. In those area, the current practices of testing failed to test. And the another thing is that in the name of assessing and evaluating students' performance, we have a set of assessment tools that acted as a overburden on the part of a student to appear in the test. However, instead of giving the test, written examination and other thing, we can test those things while the teaching learning process is happening, and that's why we can reduce the burden and a pressure on the part of a student when the matter of assessment and evaluation comes. So that's why the over testing because of an incoherent bubble of a test lead to demotivate the students from the learning process. It was also found out in the several researches that meaning and usefulness of the test, and from the information that we are getting from the test, that are irrelevant, that is not much relevant, whatever the information we are getting out of the conventional mode of testing, current practices of testing, because it is not giving a holistic picture of students. That's why it was irrelevant on the part of a students also, it was irrelevant on the part of a teacher also, and it was irrelevant on the part of a whole academic institute when we think. So that was irrelevant. And it was also that the current practices and the conventional mode of a testing were not able to outline the systemic hierarchical development of the child's progress in the different domain of learning, because all the domain cannot be covered, and if we will try to cover, then it will not yield with a meaningful result. That's why the current practices was de-emphasized, and in the place of conventional mode of a testing, a new modality of testing was proposed, that is known as a performance based assessment, wherein the key feature of the performance based assessment will be the student will be asked to produce a product or carry out a performance, like a musical performance, like a literary performance, like a cultural performance, like a demonstration in the content area, and on the basis of their performance, which will cover all the domain of a learning, like that the cognitive part, because if you want to perform, if you want to construct, if you want to build something based upon the concept, then you must have a content clarity, that is the cognitive part. Then it will also show your skill, that is the psychomotor domain, and when you will practice that, then you will be able to develop attitude, then you will be able to develop the you can say that the feeling, and you will be able to inculcate those values in your life. Like that, when we talk about the mathematics, so one of the key feature of a mathematics and one of the objective of teaching mathematics is that when the student will learn mathematics, the precision, accuracy, systemic approach, punctuality, these things will be developed, but these things cannot be developed by doing the teaching learning process in a conventional way. And simultaneously, when we come for the assessment and evaluation, these things cannot be assessed and evaluated by the conventional mode of assessment. Through the conventional mode of assessment, punctuality you cannot assess, precision you cannot assess, problem solving ability you cannot assess. So that's why a new modality of assessment was proposed, wherein the student will perform, they will produce, they will carry out a performance in a different subject area according to the pre-specified criteria or a guideline. And when we talk about the according to the pre-specified criteria and a guideline, then you can link it with the rubric, because the rubric we know that rubric is a performance based assessment criteria. So in the rubric we used to have a different performance related to a task. Just I was saying that why we have shifted from the conventional method of study, sorry, assessment, to a new assessment model. And what is the new assessment model that I was explaining? That the new assessment model, which is the performance based assessment, wherein we ask the student to produce a product or carry out a performance related to the different domain of learning, so that the all domain of learning can be assessed, because in the conventional mode of assessment, all domain of a learning was not possible to assess, and if it is not possible to assess, then we can say that this assessment is not holistic in nature. How it will be holistic in nature, unless or until it will not cover the whole domain of learning. And I was giving an example that suppose that in mathematics when we are doing, so in the mathematics the inculcation of a value of mathematics, like a problem solving, like a precision, like a accuracy, these things cannot be assessed through the conventional mode of assessment. For that we need some other modality of assessment wherein the student will have a opportunity to perform, opportunity to carry out a performance, opportunity to produce a product, so that we can assess those things. That I was trying to say. And then when we talk about the alternate modality of assessment, here specifically we are talking about the performance based assessment. Then the performance based assessment, uh, it can more time consuming, it may be hard to do, and it may cost more also when we talk about the economy of the assessment, है ना? So it may be more time consuming, it may be hard to implement because you need more exercise to do, and it may be consuming more cost. But here, when we talk about the holistic learning and holistic assessment, then these are the things that we must do. The only way to measure the intended construct, that is the theoretical trait or the knowledge or the understanding, these things will not give a real picture, authentic picture of the learner. And that's why even though when it consumes more time, it is hard to implement, it requires some extra ability on the part of a teacher, because they must be very much competent in implementing performance based assessment. So even though all those things are there, but through the conventional mode of assessment, the skill, attitude, and higher order of learning is very difficult to assess. That's why this is the only way of assessment wherein the student will get an opportunity to perform, carry out task, and carry out a product. So on the basis of their performance in the activities, in the process where they are performing and carrying out a product, can be assessed. And the performance based assessment is a better way to measure the intended construct. The performance based assessment is a better way to measure the intended construct, है ना? construct के बारे में मैं बाद में बताऊंगा, वहां से आप इसको लिंक कर लीजिएगा. Okay, it is a better way to measure the intended construct. And even the performance based assessment provides both learning and assessment opportunity for student. It provides both the thing, learning and assessment opportunity, because when they are performing, when they are constructing the things, when they are bringing out a performance, they are learning also, because it is a brushing of their skills, and it is also providing the assessment opportunity. So that's why in this way the performance based assessment is proposed, isn't it? Then we will see what are the steps in developing performance based assessment, because from here our main discussion comes, how we can carry out the performance based assessment, what we can do in carrying out the performance based assessment, what should be the steps. The first step is that you have to define the purpose of assessment, because we know that here in the performance based assessment students are supposed to uh, bring some activities. They are supposed to construct something. They are supposed to bring out some performance. So whatever they will be constructing, whatever they will be bringing out, so that will not be at random. That must have some points that the teacher wants to assess. Like that, when you think of assessing their creativity, or when you think of assessing their uh, problem solving ability, so the kind of work they will bring out, the kind of a performance they will bring out, that must have a essence of these things. If you want to assess the problem solving ability, but the work that whatever they are doing, that does not have an input of a problem solving. Like that, when you are assessing uh, in mathematics, that prepare a polygonal structure which have you can think that polygonal structure which is required to be used in making the grill of your window. So which polygonal structure will be more appropriate, how it will be arranged, like that. So this have a in uh, you can say that this have a essence of a problem solving. So this can be used for the assessing problem solving ability. And this can also be used for assessing the creativity, because the way you will be arranging, the way you will be doing, that will need some creativity. But this cannot be used to assess the punctuality. This cannot be used to assess the precision. For the precision, we need some calculations, some construction, like that. So that is the what. So first you have to define the purpose of assessment. What is the purpose of assessment? Why you are trying to assess the student? So accordingly you can design the performance based assessment. That is the first step. Then you have to you have decided the purpose of assessment. In this purpose of assessment, we have to outline that what skill, what learning outcome, and what taxonomy label you want to assess, because there is a three domain in the taxonomy: cognitive, affective, and a psychomotor. So which you want to assess, then from that taxonomy level, which outcome you want to assess, and from that learning outcome, which skill you want to assess. Here you have to decide again, when you will think of that, that what is the time limit you have. So within that time limit you are supposed to do, and then you have to also decide which learning outcome will be performance based and which learning outcome will be traditional based. So a mixed of assessment can be used. Then you have to prepare performance based assessment strategy to assess the performance of the child, and then you have to prepare the traditional assessment strategy to assess the lower level cognitive level, like remembering, understanding, this type of a thing. Okay, then after deciding this what you want to assess, you have defined what you want to do, then you have to design and develop performance tasks. In the designing, what they will be doing, how will be they will be doing, what will be the time frame, whether the requirement for that is available in the classroom and school or not, whether the data that will be coming that is supporting your objectives or not, how the data you will be collecting by observation, by collecting materials, by involving other supervisors, external supervisors, isn't it? So that needs to be defined. For example, you can think that you can give some tasks like that, building a house using some sticks, so that their creativity will come because they are supposed to design, their skill will come because it is involving psychomotor skills, even their attitudinal skill can also attitudinal change, affective part can also be assessed. How the affective part can be assessed? If the child is designing house which is a spacious, which is a airy, and which is have a scope of coming a natural light, then we can understand that the child has understood in its true sense and spirit the basic nature of natural surroundings, importance of a environment, and importance of a nature. Why the natural sunlight is required? Because it have an antibacterial property. Why the fresh air is required? Because it will have a more concentration of oxygen, and it will be a good for health. Why there should be the spacious house? So here, not only the psychomotor skill, not only the cognitive part, but also we are assessing the affective domain, isn't it? Like that, the another example from a biology you can take, which is in the secondary school class level, that the demonstration of dissection of a something like a flower, or like a we used to do in the plus 2 level frog. Nowadays it is not desirable to do with a real frog, but the type of a models comes on which they can practice and they can do. So it will not only develop the skill, but it will also illustrate that how much they are cognitively sound in those concept area, and it will also develop a affective domain. Okay, so why the affective domain? Because of that, by doing the dissection, by understanding their structure, anatomy, they will have a feeling that they are also a living animal and living creature in the universe, and they also need respect. Like that, in the geography, you can ask to draw a map of some geographical area and indicate where the forests are dense, where the what kind of natural resources are available. This thing can be. You may also ask to write some lines, like it may be in the form of a poetry, it may be in the form of a essay, or to recite a poem with its full expression. Okay, even they can also be asked to present a mathematics lesson in the class. So the problem solving precision they will learn, because within the performing the mathematics lesson they will be calculating, they will be drawing, so much of work they will be doing. So these type of work can be assigned. This type of a work can be thought of for performance based assessment. Then the next thing is that uh, what are the suggestions for constructing performance based task? What we should keep in our mind? The first thing is that while teacher is thinking of constructing performance task, focus on learning outcome that requires complex cognitive skill must be taken care. Learning outcome which requires a complex cognitive skill. It is not like that the simple one can be given to the low grade student. So better you can understand the learning outcome that will be framed must be grade appropriate. It should not be too tough to perform and exhibit, and it should also not be too easy to perform and exhibit. It must be grade appropriate. Then you must select or develop tasks that represent both content, skill, and the cognitive domain. So we must select or develop a task in a such a manner that as far as possible, I'm saying as far as possible, not always, it may not be possible always. So it must have a essence of all the three domains of a learning: cognitive, affective, and a psychomotor, isn't it? Then we must provide the necessary scaffolding for the student to be able to understand and perform the task. Some student, because I have earlier told that some it must be grade appropriate, but for some student it may be difficult to perform that. It may be difficult. So for them we have to provide a scaffolding, we have to provide a support, so that slowly they will learn, they will strengthen their ability, and they will perform. Then we must clearly communicate that what they are supposed to do and how it will be assessed, because their performance is ultimately to be assessed. So the student also know, they must be known that what they are supposed to do actually and what are the assessment criteria. So while carrying out the performance, bringing out the performance, they will be well aware of that and they will take care all those things. That is needed. Then the performance based task must be congruent to the purpose of assessment. It must be related. That is the symptoms of, that is the indication of a good performance task for the performance based assessment. So when we talk about the what are the indication, what are the guidelines for preparing good performance task for the performance based assessment, then it must perform, indicate, it must be congruent, it must be related to the purpose of assessment, why we are doing and how we will be doing. Then the performance task must be adequately reflected to the learning outcome, because when we are teaching, when the teaching learning process is happening, we are with a learning outcome that we want to inculcate in the learner. So the assessment must be aligned with that, and it must be adequately reflect. Then a good performance task will be appropriate to the developmental level of a student. As previously I was saying, it must be grade appropriate, isn't it? Then the direction of a performance task should include what is to be done, how it is to be done, and the condition is in the doing, so that they will get a overall guidelines that what actually they are supposed to do and how it will be assessed. And more importantly, the performance task must be interesting, where the child can take interest in doing. They must have a motivation of doing. Challenging, it should not be very easy or it should not be very tough. And fair to all students. Like that, it should not be very easy for some student and it should not be very tough for some student. So it should be interesting, challenging and fair to the student, isn't it? So these are the some criteria which indicates the what is the good performance task for performance based assessment. And then how we will assess the performance? The performance can be assessed by the rubrics, because rubrics is the only way to assess the performance based upon some criteria. So when you are thinking of implementing performance based assessment, when you are thinking of developing, so together with developing the activity for performance based assessment, you must develop simultaneously rubrics and the criteria, because without having a criteria and a rubric you cannot assess the performance, and then the performance based assessment whatever you have thought of will not be implemented. So the rubric must be developed together with developing the criteria.